Alley. She's the Program Director of the Cheshire Coalition for Tobacco-Free Communities. Let's give her a round of applause.
I really appreciate this conversation. It's a really important conversation for the college community to have. And I should also say that this conversation is going to continue tomorrow on a different level, and that's and I'd like to invite you to a meeting that NADAC, the Monadnock Alcohol and Drug Use Coalition, is actually having at the high school, where community members are going to be gathering to talk about some of the same things that you're talking about. We're going to be looking at the Youth Risk Behavior Survey, which is a survey of high school students, which will be telling about use and perception of use in the high school setting, and also the Teen Assessment Project, which is a survey of middle school youth. And we'll be talking about their perception of risk and their perception of use in that setting. So police, community members, teachers, parents, and hopefully some college students will be coming tomorrow. We'll be at Keene High School, and if you have an interest in coming and joining in that conversation, you're part of the community too. And so I think it would be really important. It's at 4 o'clock, and if you have an interest, see me after, and I'll make sure that we get you on the list, because we want to make sure there's space for you. It is a really important conversation for us to have. And the reason why we're meeting to do that is basically the principal of the new principal at Keene High School came to Keene and found an alarming rate of incidents as a result of underage drinking and abusive medications or drugs. And so it's an issue not just for Keene State College, but it's our community's issue. And so I think it would be really great if you could join us and to continue that talk as we look at to see what we can do to prevent things from happening. And I'm kind of thinking that the problem isn't just something that starts here at Keene State College, but it starts probably when we're younger, when we start using alcohol at a younger age. And so I think we just do it when we get to college. However, I will say, with my other hat on, which is the tobacco hat, I'm the chair of the NADAC coalition, but I'm also the coordinator of the tobacco coalition, which we're doing a pretty good job of keeping kids from starting using tobacco in high school and as young teens. And what's happening, and I'm finding out from working with college students, is that college students are coming to college and they're starting to party, and they haven't smoked until they get to college, and then they're starting up because it's the party thing to do, and it's more social, so they're beginning college. And fortunately for Keene State College students, we do have a program, and we offer free help, and tasks can be done for college students who decide, usually they decide when they're about to graduate and realize that they have to start paying for their cigarettes after they graduate, but maybe I don't want to do this anymore, and so we can help them. And you would not believe the number of students that come to me and say, I've done it graduate, and I don't want to stay after I graduate because I have to get a job and opportunity. So we do have that program. I just wanted to put a plug into that. But also my question was actually about policy, which I really think a lot of the solutions are. Somebody mentioned that he thought if the policies were enforced better and there were higher penalties for use, that maybe that would send a message and there would be less infraction coming. You have a tobacco policy on your campus. It's a policy that restricts smoking within 25 feet of buildings, which I'm hearing is not really enforced here, and that there's smoking in many public areas. So my question for a debate would have been, like many other work sites, healthcare centers, hospitals, other work sites anyway, would you think that possibly Keene State College could remedy the enforcement issue with the policy by just not allowing tobacco use on the campus? Could it be like other colleges, a tobacco-free campus? So that was going to be my debate question, but you can have a conversation about that any way that you want. And again, thank you for having this conversation and allowing the tobacco, people say it's only tobacco, which is really the gateway and kills probably about 440,000 people every year. So it's still important, even in terms of this conversation about drugs and alcohol. I appreciate the opportunity to ask a question.
Thank you.
So the question was, do you think Keene State can enact policy that would curb smoking
zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance? Yeah, of course they can do that. I think we can have a lot of resistance, and if we really line, we can have responsibility to campus safety, and they can enforce that. I know it would be extremely unpopular. I'm not forcing anything. I do think but I also don't. I think it would be difficult to do something like that, and I'd be interested to see how Keene State would go about that. Install it.
Chris, do you have a response?
I agree with a lot of what Ben said. I think that it would be met with a lot of resistance. Cigarette addictions in general, it's a social habit just as much as it is a chemical habit, and a lot of it has to do with time. You wake up, you have a cigarette at a certain time, you go to class, you have a cigarette afterwards. So I think that it would be just as much the way the policy is written as to how policy is enacted, and basically the language behind how it's delivered. If it's used in which we're not trying to take away your rights to smoke cigarettes, just to alter your timeline when you smoke, you just can't smoke on campus. So I think that yes, it would be met with a fair amount of student criticism, but it certainly could be done.
Here we have, just to kind of give you context, we have, is it a 25-foot rule or a 35-foot rule? A 25-foot rule, which is absolutely not enforced nor practiced. It's not uncommon to encounter a smoker as you walk into a building, which bothers some and doesn't bother others, but there's clearly resistance to enforcing even the current policies we have in place. So I think that's kind of the cynicism we're hearing, is that I don't know, and who's going to enforce it, and would it be a popular rule? Is there anyone who would like to answer that in the audience? Yes, please.
I know this college started looking into having a smoke-free campus, and Helen G, the former president, was very on board for this, and student government was taking it very far to talk to organizations, see how those students respond to that. So I think the project was left when something in student government happened, so I can point you in the direction of those contacts to get that project started up again, because I think it's great. And I think we don't enforce it because there's not enough bodies to do that.
Far right.